Welcome back, guys, to my casting of the Pick Your Poison tournament organized by Daniela and her crew. Big shout out to them for putting this whole show on for us. It's been a blast so far, so I want to give them their props as well. Today we're looking at a quarterfinal series of bracket H, ranging between 12 and 1300 elo-ish, and the contestants are Yakzia and Stefan. So we'll see what this series has in store for us, as we see game 1 is going to be played on Nomad apparently, and well, we'll see which of these guys is able to take the lead in this first game. We've got Goss versus Vietnamese apparently here. That looks to be wrong, because Vietnamese and Goss were picked on the same side actually of the draft. So again, take this with a grain of salt here. This graphic, maybe these guys had some issues there during the SIF drafts, but regardless, oh yeah, down there it says Goss, Vietnamese and Bengalis for both sides, so might have been an issue there. Nonetheless, I guess best course of action is to just jump straight into the game and see who, well, is actually playing as what here. So let's find out. Okay, on the left-hand side, it seems to be Persians for Combi. Yakzia, as the number 9 seed in this group, going to have a tall task to face here in game 1. And on the right side, it is Goss for Stefan, who has the number 1 seed, should be considered the favorite in this game now. I guess we'll see and find out if he's going to be able to justify that favorite's role. And he's getting a real nice town center location to start this one off. He's got a really good woodline for my liking, and lots of food around as well. Man, this looks like an Arabia start. This actually is better than any Arabia start that you could hope for. You've got 1 boar, you've got 3 deer, a sheep, berries, main gold, main stone, and a huge woodline, all within your town center radius here, pretty much. So this is actually amazing. I don't think you could ask for much better stuff than this on Nomad. Now on the other side, let's see what the Persians are working with to compare. Oh, not too shabby. I mean, really good wood and gold. Looks like he's also fine in terms of food. He's got the boar and some deers, but the rest of the food economy will be a little bit farther away than you would actually like, probably. The stone also not the nearest, so I love Stefan's start quite a bit more actually. Going for the early lure here, having picked up loom already. Interesting. So he's able to get that boar to fall and start eating away at that. In terms of villager production, looks like both guys are relatively similar, sitting on those 5 villages here, but the difference being Persians here getting out the first fishing ships, and that is of course due to their bonuses. So let's put them up on screen here to see why Combi Yakzia was able to get that fishing economy going first. So Persians start with extra resources with this, which is absolutely massive. 50 extra wood and food, enabling you to get that fishing ship production out earlier than most other civs. And on top of that, they've got extra work rate on their docks and town centers starting in feudal age. So we'll continue to get economy leads that way, at least unless Stefan is able to do something about it. Thus, I think Persian's pretty decent civ for this one. They don't traditionally have a great feudal age, but if you're able to hit some interesting timings due to your extra starting resources, which Yakzia seems to be using mainly to get a good economy start, then maybe he can do something with that. On the other side, it's the Goths, which definitely not my type of civ. They are an infantry civ, of course, most well known for their Huskarls, which are the bane of every archer player. but that shouldn't be the worst thing for the Persians. They don't necessarily need to go for any archers. And for the Goths, we see a wide array of bonuses. One of them being that Loom can be researched instantly. So that is why we saw them pick up Loom at the start here. It still costs them that 50 gold, of course, but it doesn't idle the town center for any time, so he was still, as we saw, able to keep villager production up at the exact same rate as his opponent here in Feudal Age. So that is a really nice bonus to have in situations such as this one, where you just pick it up to be able to get really early boar lures in. And it's already yielded him big benefits, so that was a smart heads-up play by Stefan. On top of that, he's got some extra population room in Imp, just further bolstering the theme of this civilization of spamming units. Of course, faster working barracks contribute heavily to that, on top of the fact that most of the units are quite quick to produce anyways from the get-go. So yeah, that's the Goths in a nutshell there, really. All right, there. Of course, extra hunter bonus might be useful on Nomad as well, right? You carry more food when hunting, and thus you're able to more efficiently go out with a few villages and grab hunt that is maybe a bit too far away from your town center traditionally for other civs to gather. Okay, now let's start see what this start has to offer. Got 3 fishing ships out for the Persians, 0 for the Goths. They've got a dock, but they haven't actually made any fishing ships just yet. They've got 80 wood, so could queue one up and finally have enough houses to do so as well. But you see the difference here. Those extra fishing ships have brought in a lot of food already, and that's Persia being able to go up to feudal age, whereas this Stefan here with the Goths still a bit away, of course. Yeah, we see that as soon as the hunters drop their food, that's a big food injection here, and he's going to click up here as well in an instant, I suppose. Actually gonna make another villager here. Curious choice, a bit of idle time, but he's going to be a bit behind here by about a minute or so of his opponent, and actually might need to put another villager in here since he's gone so far away to gather this hunt. So it's a bit of a rough transition here. Could have gone up quite close to the Persians, but instead is delayed by a little bit. Let's see if that's going to be an issue. Of course, 17 villager upclick for the Persians is crazy fast. You really see what that extra fishing eco early can do for you. Let's check out the resources gathered actually to see what the difference is here. 300 already. So early on in the game, that is pretty big, but now, of course, only 70 villagers, so he's going to have to use his eco very well and wise to get out here onto the map. Going to go for a scout rush, apparently. And the Goths, man, they're really behind to this one. Only clicking up now. 23 villagers, and only now has the first fishing ship come out. I think he must have forgotten about this dock for quite some time, because he's had a lot of wood just lying around there in his storage. And the fishing ship's really late in this one, so maybe kind of nerves here, or first game of the day type struggles for Stefan, who is a bit late and hasn't gotten his fishing economy out early enough. The downside to Combi Yaksia's approach is, of course, that he's got a very fragile eco, so he can't be playing on too many fronts here, is sacrificing the water for this, so he's not making any warships. Good news is the opponent isn't up to fuel age yet, so it's not like you're falling behind on water with this. First scout out, going to try and get harassment in on those Goths, but remember they've got loom already, so it's going to take more than one scout, presumably, to take out any villagers. Barracks are up for the Goths, and thus I expect spearman construction to begin in 20 seconds once fuel age is in. Really nice quick walls here. Is he going to be able to get another house down here? Oh, the clutch! Wow, that was a close call, but that was an amazing reaction here, just at the last second, able to get the house up. And that is some save. Gold mining villagers and spearmen starting to come out now. Remember, 20% faster working barracks. I'm not sure why we're making spearmen for Combi Yakzia. I guess maybe No, never mind. I was gonna say maybe he's like one of those pro players that can use the spearmen to distract the enemy spearmen. I guess he's trying to do that right now, and he's taking some decent trades so far. But we see the archer range already go up for Stefan. It's a bit weird. Why are we doing archer range? I think double barracks would actually be decent for the Goths here. But it looks like he's going to try and just secure this gold area with a tower. I don't love it. I don't think I'm putting a tower here unless the opponent comes with archers. Because I've already quick walled this in perfectly. No, I don't really like this tower. Either way, he's going to put it up, and that's going to put an end to the raids in the north. Now he's going to have to worry about the rest of his eco, though. And especially in terms of food, it's looking quite rough for the Goths right here. Who, what do they have? Where are they gathering food? Oh, it's over here. All of them are over here on the berries. So as long as those villagers don't get found out, he should be in a fine spot. But if Combi ends up scouting over here, which he might do, oh boy, it's a close call here. That would be disastrous for the Goths. Luckily for Stefan, it's not getting spotted yet. But now the archery range has been found by the Persians, and we'll see if he's going to respond to that, perhaps by dropping his own archery range. That's a lot of scouts in the field for Yakzia. It's a very potent force here in the early feudal age, but he's going to need to do some damage with it. Otherwise, this is a huge investment that is kind of going to waste. I loved the early feudal age timing, but he needs to make use of it as well. No warships by either side, curiously. I think that was... The thing is, that's why we typically see naval play. Naval is the easiest way of harassing the opponent's eco. Good job by Stefan walling in those villages. That was real important homework here done by him. And he's going to need to make sure the repairs come in as well. But as things stand, these villages are safe. But bad news, I guess, as soon as those berries are gathered up, it might be a bit difficult to get them out of there again. Okay, either way, it seems he's stabilized a bit at home, getting a few archers out on the map as well. At least one of them so far. And trying to see what he can do in terms of harassment with that. Lots of spearmen. And since Persians have only done scouts for now, they can't really deal with those. Although I'm not sure I love to see this. We're just waltzing straight into the town center. Down goes the archer. Or does he? Able to keep it alive barely. And the scout's still wandering about in the Goths area. But Castle Age has come out for Yakzia here. Only about a minute away from arriving. Goths just a tad behind, as the buildings already just needs to drop a bit more food. His economy really stretched extremely thin here, but he's able to make it work. He's getting up to Castle Age with only 8 on food here. Man, this is a struggle for him, but I guess he's going to need to transition into farms around his TC soon. If the Persians keep up this pressure, this is going to be a difficult game for the Goths. But if they are able to buy themselves some space to expand into a bit more farms and make efficient use of their infantry, with spearmen maybe and then pikemen against these enemy knights that I expect to come out soon, this might be a fine game state for Stefan here, despite it looking a bit wonky right now. In terms of eco numbers, it's actually in a really good spot, surprisingly. 33 to 37 villages. Mainly, I guess, due to the idle town center time for the Persians, and that's a big one. Remember, Persian town centers starting in the feudal age, working faster, and thus you're typically expecting to get a villager lead in feudal castle age throughout the game, really. And has not been able to do that actually, since the idle time has cost him a lot there. I don't want to see that increase too much here, as he needs to continue that villager production. No, the scouts right now not finding that much success, but actually throwing a curveball here, not going for just straight up knight production here in Castle Age. Instead, has idled the stable and is making camoches from the back, very curiously. Sends one of them forward. Hopefully not going to show that to the opponent. I think you want to build up a few of them before you actually show the opponent what surprise you've got in store for them. Town center going up for Stefan. In the south, might lose a villager or two, but the spearmen are there to protect this TC going up. So that's a good TC, and even has a third one on the side here. So he's going for the eco approach, and I think this is a really good choice. Man, had Yakzia going for double stable knight production here to start off the castle age, I think he could have been doing serious damage, especially when the opponent's pikeman upgrade wasn't quite in yet. He's very low on infantry's blacksmith upgrades. So I think with knights you could have done some immediate damage here that would have been difficult for Stefan to still go into town centers. But instead he's gone for cav archers, has not been able to pressure the opponent with them until now. Only now is sending them forward and only has 4 of them, so it's not even a very scary force to begin with. Was forced to invest in some really expensive blacksmith upgrades to make the cav archers work. And thus the opponent was able to put up 2 extra town centers. So the Goths are going to continue building on their village elite. Only issue still being the farm space, but that is exactly what he's bought himself with those town centers. So he's got 600 wood. I would love to see him invest a lot into farms here. Maybe go off of gold completely for now. Just make farms. Get up your pikeman numbers. Maybe some skirmishers as well against the cav archers. And that seems to be his idea right now. And does exactly that. I like what I'm seeing from Stefan here. He's taken that opening that was given to him by Persia, not actually going for knights, and he's getting a real good eco lead out of it. Still single town center for Combi Yakzia, who's got so much. Man, there's no excuse for him not to just put down 2 town centers this very moment. Instead, he's queuing up more cav archers. Even if he wants to do that, a single town center drop is absolutely imperative, but he's not doing it. And he's giving the opponent an eco lead for free with that. He's doing fine with his cav archers and all, but eco KD is just 1 to 0, so you can really see the returns on that are very underwhelming here. At least compared to expectation. Was able to take out a few gold villagers, so 3 is the overall number now in terms of villager kills. Gets the siege workshop. He's trying to, I guess, make an all-in push happen here, but it's so slow and late. I'm not sure about this one. I mean, I guess cav archers plus siege is a thing, but the eco behind it is just so fragile. If anything ever ends up getting into his eco, the game is instantly over. And even without that happening, is already down 10 eco units. Elite skirmishers in for Stefan. Those units are so cheap, he's going to be able to sustain a skirmisher production here for a while, and that's going to make it extremely difficult for those cav archers to find any value. Scorpion out, actually, from the siege workshop. I'm not sure about this one. I think you need those mangonels against skirmishers. Pikemen are easy pickings, though, so that's some good trades here that Yakzia is taking. No ballistics yet, that's also making it a bit difficult to trade here. But so far so good. He needs to keep pressuring though. He's been on the offensive this whole game, so it might look really good for him. But actually, I'm not sure it's been enough. And he's still down those 10 villager numbers. So he definitely needs to do more damage, which he's trying. So I agree with the approach in a sense, and he's taken some more decent trades here against the pikemen, which really are no match for his cav archers. He needs to kill a few villagers on this one. Oh, I think he's... Oh yeah, no, he's hitting the villagers. Really nice job there. Microing, oh yeah, this is a good trade. This is a really nice trade. Look at the kills, 21 kills already, 12 to 0 eco KD. Now that was a nice one. The castle ends up going up, and this is really good protection for the eco here from the west. But that was a costly castle to force up. And Yakzia kind of losing track of his cav archers here. Oh, that's a bad trade. And the skirmisher numbers start getting higher and higher. Knights now finally the answer for the Persians. I wonder, I mean, you could have just gone mangonels behind this and tried to deal with the skirmishes that way. I know mangonels aren't everybody's favorite unit. So, alright, I get that. Ooh, Daniela! My god, I'm so sorry, I didn't even see that raid. And then, that's a surprise, but good to see you. Hope you had a good stream. We're looking at bracket H here from Daniela's tournament. Pick your poison. Chat rules say don't insult each other. Basically, that means just anything that would get me in trouble with Twitch. So, I mean, common sense is in general the guidelines in this chat. So, yeah, great to see you, Danielle. I hope you had a good time. Did you do King of the Desert today? Oh, I think King of the Desert hasn't started yet today, has it? Either way, always glad to see you, folks. Oh man, yeah. Great to see everybody stopping by here. Oh my boy, we've got tons of Raiders messages, first time chatters here. Appreciate everything. I'm still very new to this whole AOE2 thing, but I've got some decent follower emotes, I guess. Some Mangonel, Mangodai type stuff. And I'm currently getting my race car Onager emote reworked by an emote artist, so we're getting there. So in case you're looking for some fun follow emotes, I guess that's the one thing this channel has to offer. Otherwise, I'm just casting Pick Your Poison tournament games most of the time. So, great to see everybody. Yeah, no problem, Daniela. Actually, I have to thank you for giving me the opportunity to cast so many fun games, low elo games at that, because I can relate to those a lot more than the high elo folks. But it's been a great day already. I've cast one series already. If you guys are interested in any of the series from this tournament that I've cast, you can head to my YouTube channel where there's a PYP WOTS playlist. Lots of games that I cast there, so in case you want to scout your opponents or see what I say about your gameplay, you can check that one out. I've got mostly low elo brackets covered over there. This is again bracket H, 9th seed against 1st seed, Yakzia against Stefan. And Persian's been on the attack for this entire game, but still, Stefan with a 9 villager lead here, crammed into his little corner. As long as he can hold on, he's in a fine spot, but it is always difficult to fend off these Cavalry raids. So we'll see if he's going to be able to prevail here. Chupter Burger. I'm not sure I actually cast your game. I think I did though. I think I did. You can see on that playlist, but I think I actually did. So yeah, I probably did flame you if you lost. So there's that. Love to see it. How do both players still have ships? Yeah, I commented on that earlier. Persians hit a really early feudal age timing and couldn't afford to go for both navy and land aggression, and he opted for land aggression, and thus Goths kind of had to respond there, but they completely ignored each other's navy, or each other's fishing ships, which was very curious there. Finally, we see some fire galleys come out from Stefan. I think that would go a long way cleaning up Persia's fishing ships, because that's some free eco damage that you could be doing here, while the opponent is having trouble breaking your base open. Cool, Chupta deserving the flaming. Well, I'm not sure. Oh, did you play? Oh, I think I remember your series. Yeah. That's a good series. You might want to watch that. That's all I say. You played a Mesosif on Arabia, I think, if I remember correctly. Aztecs, I believe. Not sure. And you won it with a castle drop? Check that out if that was your series. Alright, focusing back on the action, I think is a really good choice by Yakzia to add in those knights again. I didn't think Huskars would be playing a big role in this one, but since Persians opted this heavily into Cav archers, you're gonna need something to deal with all the Huskars and the skirmishers. Knights decent at that. I would still have liked to see some mangonels potentially, but again, those are hard to micro, so I cannot see why you would maybe not be going for those in Yakzia's place. Still, it's a wonder to me how he was able to keep this push up with that fragile an eco. Finally has a second TC, I guess, but yeah, it's been a rocky road, but finally he's been able to get to even in eco numbers to his opponent. If he's able to keep this push up, he might actually be doing it here. That would be such a massive upset here for a 9th seed to come in and at least, well, take the neutral map of a 1 seed, which we might be on the verge of right here. The Cav archers are mercilessly hammering through those villages, and he's really scrambling to try and find a response here. The monks, the castles, he's trying everything, and it looks like he's holding on for now, forcing those knights back, and he's gonna live to fight another day, apparently. Down 10 in eco numbers himself now. He's, I guess, well, he's not actually sent those fire ships out yet on water, which would, I guess, give him at least some eco damage that he's not been able to find on land at all just yet. Ooh, this is a difficult one here. Yeah, the eco KD, you're absolutely right. This is the story of this game, as I said. Persia have been pushing since 20 minutes ago, really. Start of feudal age, and they've never let up. Although Stefan has found some great responses, some great quick walls, if you're into that, but he's never been able to return the favor and pressure the opponent. Finally, I guess his fire ships are able to do something, but it's really a bit late, and now even the third town center coming up for Persians. They've kind of reset their push now on their way to Imp. I guess just gonna try and regroup, build up a bit, and try to go for the final push. That is giving Stefan some time to rebuild and gather himself, though. I wonder what he's gonna do about this. He's gotta know that he's in a really rough spot here. Trying to, well, chase down the fish. That's the first couple of eco kills he's gonna get in this game. I respect it. Once more, the cavalry just come forward, and Stefan is still confined to his very small corner here. The amount of town centers and castles at least allows him some farm space that he didn't have earlier. 1.5 minutes late to Imp. What does he got against these cav archers? His army is looking so sorry right now. I mean, no offense, but 10 skirmishers I don't think is gonna do it here. And he's spending everything, so it's not like he's swimming in resources. He's really trying hard to stay in this one. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm sorry, by the way, if I didn't if I'm not keeping up 100% with chat right now. It's not typically the kind of activity we've had in here, but I trust you guys are being good guys. And in go the cav archers once more. I mean, it's such a pain to deal with. At least the skirmishers are able to find some picks now. But what's he gonna do once those traps start coming in? I'm not sure about this one here for Stefan. He's still in it, but just barely, and on the way to Imp as well. I guess Huskarls is going to be his answer for now, which he's training up for the time being. He's still got very lackluster blacksmith upgrades here, even for feudal age, or for castle age standards. So I'm not sure how good those are going to fare against the cav archers, which at least he's been able to trim down this mass to just 17. Meaning Yakzia doesn't really have that intimidating an army anymore. He's going for lots of upgrades right now, not actually making any traps. Probably because he doesn't have a castle, which I guess I should have pointed out earlier. So that is buying some time for Stefan. The stone here has been gathered now, though, so I expect the castle drop momentarily. But Stefan able to at least get up to Imp. And although he might be expecting the trebuchets, there's not going to be any coming anytime soon. Oh man, no castle yet for the Persians, exactly. And no horse color for the Persians either, you said. Oh boy. Well, he's gotten it now, but you're absolutely right. Both players here, well, I should say the Persians have been cutting some extreme corners in this game. Goths have just been on the back foot the entire game, so they really had to be very shrewd with the way they spent their rest. Look at the scouting though. Like, they've been in their corner for the entire game. They don't see really anything of the map. That's really what this game has all been about. Look at what they see. They see pretty much nothing. Contrast this with the Persians, who I'm sure have got a much clearer picture of this map, and that's exactly it. Now with the castle going up, it's gonna be difficult to imagine an answer to the trebuchets that the Persians could start pumping out soon here. Going for the cavalier upgrade is Yakzia. Interesting choice. He doesn't have heavy cavalry archer yet. I'm not even sure the Persians get that, honestly. But he's going for the cavalier. Doesn't have a ton of knights just yet. But if the opponent is going into skirmishes and into huskarls like that, I guess you'd love to have some cavalier around. First trebuchet is actually out for the Goths now. Let's see what the answer is going to be. I feel like at this point he's got enough Cavalier that he might be able to just rush down this trap, but it's going to be costly against those monks, the halberdiers. Good answers for Stefan right now. And it's not like the Persians have a huge army that is just going to roll through him. So actually I think this Trebuchet war has gotten off to a great start here. Look at the conversions. The Cavalier evaporate on the spot. And Stefan getting a really good trade here. The Trebuchet is hammering away at this castle. I feel like he's winning on this front at least. And kind of establishing a foothold here for himself. This is interesting. Vanilla Donut saying he's liking Stefan's precision in this game. And honestly, if you just take this very freeze frame right here, this might be the best position he's been in all game. Let's get a third Trebuchet out, and Yakzia has not proven to be able to find any answer to the traps just yet. All he's got is cav archers and cavaliers, no big numbers of either, and with halberdiers and skirmishers, the cheapest units you could really imagine, he's got the perfect answers to both of them. This town center is pure suicide, by the way. I mean, this thing here, I don't think these guys have gotten the memo yet, but there's these huge catapults right outside our village. I'm not sure you want to be putting your house there, my guys. Oh boy. Yakzia is kind of falling apart here. What a disappointing turn of events. 50 minutes into this game, is he gonna let loose of this one? He was on the verge of completing the upset, but he's really ran out of steam here in the last couple of minutes. The imp transition wasn't smooth at all, and despite great eco numbers for both of them, and the little map control that the Goths have, they've been successfully stalling out this push here for a while. The Cavs once more go in to try and snipe the trebuchets. There's not a ton of halberdiers around, so maybe this time around Yakzia is going to get better results out of this one. He's getting both of these at least. Alright, so I guess that's he's fine throwing away the cavaliers for that. But that's not any damage done, that's just damage avoided at home. So the third trebuchet even ends up surviving here. Lots of attacks still coming through for the Stefan, and he's really ramping up here. He's been able to stabilize, and he's preparing to go on the offenses himself now. Blast Furnace about to come in too. It's got really good eco upgrades. The blacksmith upgrades that I was criticizing earlier are coming through at this point. And man, Yakzia gotta pull himself together, otherwise he's going to lose this first neutral map that he had such a good position in. And I guess I gotta reiterate my criticism from earlier that the second town center just took way too long for him to go down, and thus he never was really able to establish a decided eco lead. Ends up getting raided now by trash units. You always hate to see that, because you know whatever you throw at them as a response is not really a good trade. And another not so good trade taken on offense here for the Persians. I'm absolutely agreeing with you guys in chat right now. Oh man, this is not gonna be great this next couple of minutes for Yakzia, I believe. He's really gonna have to make something different. If he only keeps producing cavaliers and cav archers, he's going to lose this game. Let's see how long it takes for him to find a response, because monks really aren't it, I don't think. He's also not raiding anymore. And look at this, he's just trading straight up into this. I think he's getting desperate at this point. He really feels like he should have won this one by now, and I can't disagree with him. His impush just wasn't packing another punch. And again, this castle here, if you're lucky it goes up, but I'm not sure you're going to be able to defend it for a long time. I think you need to take a breather here, reset a bit, and come back with a different type of army composition. This doesn't seem to be it really. Castle goes up. Counter castle on the other side here. Stefan, very calm and collected here. I gotta commend his responses to really all plays the opponent has made throughout the game. He's always been able to wall in the villagers when getting raided, give up as little as possible, consolidate farm space under his town centers. Very compact base, but that was really all he needed. Just needed to buy himself some time apparently, because now here in Im, with the extra 10 population space for the Goths that we talked about earlier, he's really ramping up. and appears to be a cockroach to try and take out that Yakzia hasn't been able to find an answer to so far. Another decent cavalry raid. I guess he's getting a few villager picks here and there. I like this much better, by the way, than him just throwing them into the enemy halberdiers like earlier. This, though, I mean, you gotta have something to protect your trebuchets. Even if the opponent just has trash units, over time you're gonna start losing those traps. So you gotta bring anything really. Siege would be my answer of choice. If the opponent goes this heavily into trash, I feel like siege is all you really need to respond to that. But really anything would be better than just these cavalier, which, I mean, at least they're able to snipe the trap. So I'm not saying he can't make any cav. It's just not, it can't be your main unit to frontline against halberdiers and skirmishers, because that gold you're never getting back. Oh man. There's a cam. Yeah, hey guys, down in the bottom left. I'm here. Oh man. This is a rough look for Yakzia. I'm feeling for him so hard after this early game. I mean, you guys didn't see the first 30 minutes of this, I don't think, but oh, what a bummer to start losing control here. And it seems like for the first time Stefan is going to start pushing across the halfway line. We've got crossbowmen at least coming out for the Persians now, so that is an adaptation. That's going to be great against the halberdiers. He's got ballistics in, he's got most of the relevant upgrades. So against the halbs, that's going to be great. Against the skirmishers, you can, I guess, still use your cavalier, if you really want. In the castle war, I don't think it's going to go in his favor, though. It's 2 trebuchets against 3, and the castle is already very low on HP. He's losing all of his stone right now. And actually, I don't think he's going to be able to gather any more stone. He's almost used up his back stone, and the 2 front stones I don't think he's going to have access to for that much longer. The crossbowmen, man. I mean, they're doing great against the halberdier and all, but he's kind of using them like skirmishers, right? He's just throwing them in there, taking some castle fire, taking some skirmisher fire. Again, the trend seems to be Yakzia loves using gold unit, but he's not very responsible with them. And whenever he's able to find a pick on a trebuchet or on a group of halberdiers, it's always at a greater cost here. And now we're fighting crossbowmen against Huskals. This should sum up the game state pretty well. Oh man, losing the entire water eco and now starting to also be pushed back on land. It's starting to look very grim for the Persians. At least he's recognizing he needs to mine this stone while he still can. But again, trash against gold units for the entire game. I wonder how much gold he's got left. Yakzia. He's got 0 on gold right now. Let's see if there's any more gold sources on his part of the island. It doesn't look like it. Oh boy, this is terrible news. He's actually used up the last bit of his gold. I think we're close to seeing the Persians collapse here. Not to be dramatic. I mean, at least okay. I mean, it looks like he's got the unique upgrade in. Thanks for pointing that out, Vanilla. It looks like the gold situation is really this pile in the middle is going to be the only thing that Persians could access. I think he's got his unique upgrade in that he can make crossbowmen without spending any gold. So those are trash units as well. I kind of over-dramatized the trades he took earlier, I guess. He's still pumping out masses of crossbows. So that was a worthwhile investment for him. Having lost all of his gold access, he needs to start pushing back now. And for that he's going to need trebuchets, a ton of crossbowmen, and some sort of a front line that I'm not sure there's really a good option. He's actually going into hand cannoneers now with very limited gold access. That's not a good idea, I don't think, because the I guess against the Huskals you need them. But you need cavalry or some front line anyways. So I'm not a huge fan of this. I think you need a front line plus crossbows. The hand cannoneers, I'm not sure, are even necessary. Light cav, storming in, not able to take out the trebuchets. Oh boy. Yakzia holding on for dear life, still at the pop maximum, so he's doing a good job there. Got enough production buildings, something I criticized in the previous series. But he's not gaining any ground, he is not able to get back onto the gold. And that's kind of the most important thing right now that they're fighting over, I gotta say. Stefan, on the other hand, he can't have that much gold left over either. Late game Nomad at its best, you're absolutely right. There's still some gold down south for the Goths. And this in the middle. This is really the last couple of gold, these 2800. So both sides kind of running short on gold now, but I think this favors the Goths to some extent. They don't have trash crossbows, but I mean, their infantry, their skirmishers, they've been doing really good so far already. Neither side gaining a lot of ground, so it's difficult to say, right? This feels like a victory for Stefan because he's been losing all game, but realistically, it's difficult to see how he's going to push down the Persians as well, being on as limited gold as he is. Still though, I would kind of give him the edge right now. He's also the higher seeded player, we can't forget that, so he is supposed to be the favorite here. He's raiding at the town center as well, currently with live calf, alright, I mean those guys aren't doing all too hot. But it's another fire for Yakzia to put out, and it's we've all been in these kind of situations, right? The game's extended for an hour, you're fighting on 2 or 3 different theaters here at the front, and then the raids in your backline start coming in. This has gotta be exhausting for both of these guys. And again, no gold for Yakzia, very little gold for the Goths. This is developing into a proper shit show, guys. I can't say it any other way. We're gonna get the trash war of the century here, I feel. Lots of wood still on the map, that's my worry, right? There's so much wood still on the map, this could be going on for a while. As we've got the Huskals now, the final raid bosses here for the Persians to kinda grind down. Skirmishers to boot. I don't think either side is 100% sure of how they are supposed to close this one out. Because it's so tricky to push down castles and such with just trash units. Raid in the north coming through here. Very good value for Yakzia there. Gets a lot of villager kills. And these guys are throwing punches back and forth. Nobody willing to back down here. Villager numbers for Stefan going a bit low actually. And he's not been able to reach pop cap here in a while. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe needs a few more production buildings. Maybe he's just kind of a bit overwhelmed here APM wise. It's difficult though. He's down 20 villagers at this point and 70 pop-ish. So it's difficult, and I love to see this from Yakzia as he has done the entire game. Maybe not the best strategical decisions or the best army comps. We can debate that. But he's been constantly sending units at the opponent, and as silly as that sounds, that is oftentimes, especially in low elo, I can tell from experience, the difference maker. If you're just continuously able to put pressure, at some point the enemy might fold, despite you not being able to actually win the Trebuchet Wars, which has now been established. That is not his strength here. He's still able to do some dangerous raids here in the backside with those crossbows, which again are very cheap to produce and maintain. Trebuchet firing away. The stone is running short as well for Yakzia, but he's still got a few left in store to try and repair this castle up. Buy himself more time while he's raiding on offense. Villager number 30 in favor of Yakzia all of a sudden, and he's been getting the better end of these trades in the last 10 minutes-ish. Probably a byproduct of the gold. Goth also running very low. They've been pushed off of their southern gold actually. Oh, this is one of the craziest games I've cast all tournament, guys. And I've cast a lot of games, as we're well aware. Oh, man. I should have put a prediction up in chat for who wins this one. I don't do it because it's a WOD and people might just ruin it and look up who won. But, I don't know, guys. This is the craziest one I can remember in terms of back and forth. And nobody really able to make a significant dent in the opponent's eco. Maybe Yakzia has started doing that, though, in these last couple of minutes. And every trap that goes down at this point is a massive investment lost for either player. Looks like this one is going to survive for now, though. Still, repairing it is costly as well. So you don't want to Don't want to be losing these traps for free. Look at all these blinking dots on the map for Stefan. He's being pushed back on so many fronts. He's got no walls. Yeah, he's got the water and everything, but he has to call it here. What a banging game for Yakzia. Congrats on taking the neutral map here. The 9th seed. I had written him off. I'd started soft flaming him after losing the grip here in early imp, but he was able to outlast. What a performance. Dang. Dang, that was a game, guys. Woo! What a series here in bracket H. My lord. Oh, apologies, by the way, to good guy AOE, who's also rated me with 20 viewers. I didn't even see that, because that must have come through, oh yeah, a minute after Daniela's raid, so sorry for missing out on that. Yeah, again, welcome everybody to this chat who hasn't been here before. That was crazy. What a first map here. If we take a look at the draft again, we're gonna go to the higher seeds home map, Stefan's home map, which is Golden Swamp. Love that. That's our favorite map here on this stream, in this tournament at least. A Golden Swamp for Stefan, and that's gonna be, well, we can't tell what civs it's gonna be, because again, this draft is a bit scuffed. I hope these guys figured that out though, and we're gonna need to put up a Golden Swamp game. Do I have any such game in my recordings? It would appear I do. Hey in chat, Beige again, good to see you too. I did get a raid from Daniela and from Good Guy, so big thanks to those two. It's been a banger game, man. You missed, this was a Beige game. You typically always come in during those long-winded arena games. We just had the long Nomad banger here that you sadly missed out on. But we're gonna get into game 2 here right away. We've got Golden Swamp, Bengalis against Teutons. And I'm gonna try and make the colors same as last game actually. I think I had blue against red, correct me if I was wrong. But that's gonna be it. I think we're gonna roll with that. Hey Mikey! Hey in chat. Man, we've got everybody coming out today. Whew. Yeah, Koalolo. I'm sorry. Really nice. Great having you have stopped by. I'll be streaming almost every day, casting a set or two of this tournament. So, yeah, always great to see new people. Let's get into game 2 now, though. We've got Golden Swamp. Love that map, and it's Bengalis against Teutons here to see if the higher seed can bounce back on his home map, or if really Stefan, or rather Yakzia, is able to get a huge upset here in round 2 and move on to the semifinals over the 1 seed in this bracket, in order to see who will prevail. Let's first check out this civilization matchup. Bengalis against the Teutons. So let's start off with those here on the right side. Combi Yakzia trying to close out the series with a classic civ here in the Teutons. Tons of bonuses for them really. Most well known, of course, the unit resistance to conversions. They've got a ton of healing related bonuses as well, and the cheaper farms that we're also familiar with. Being an infantry civilization, they've also experienced a significant uptick ever since the April infantry rework. But they are much more than just an infantry civ. Their knights in Castle Age are also quite scary, and as we can see here, they're definitely more than just one thing. Let's take a look at what they're facing up against, though. The Bengalis for Stefan here, which maybe a tad better suited for this map. I mean, you can definitely go for some naval actions, and that's exactly what Vanilla is just saying in chat. Bengalis, and I quote, kinda nutty on hybrid maps. I can see that. We see right here, they have some attractive bonuses here really for the water too. You've got regeneration on your ships, which is pretty nice, of course, and you've got some elephant bonuses, fair enough, Most well-known bonus actually for the Bengalis is, I think, the 2 villager bonus that you get on every TC you drop. And on this map especially, we've seen some crazy strats with people dropping 5, 6 TCs in Castle Age. I mean, if you want to do that as the Bengalis, I mean, that would maybe be an angle. Still though, there's also for Bengalis, just like with the Teutons, a wide array of different bonuses here. Cavalry extra attack against skirmishes, for example. So also quite high variety in this Civ. Thanks for the subscription, by the way, Chapter. Chugging in the prime here, much appreciated. And extra armor on those monks for the Bengalis. I'm not sure if we're gonna see that be a big thing in this game, since typically monk play not what you see against Teutons with the conversion resistance that we've already touched on. Alright, what do we have so far here? Nothing crazy, both guys going for similar setups in terms of eco here. We've got a bit higher idle time actually already for Yakzia, so he's a bit behind in villager production, but nothing dramatic just yet. Stefan on the other side, on his Bengalis, he really needs this victory, man. Going out 0-2 in round 2 is not what you're envisioning as the 1 seed, I don't think. So he's gonna have to bounce back in. He's got a beautiful mill. Look at this. We saw in the previous series on this map somebody dropped 2 mills in Feudal Age, or maybe even in Dark Age. No, I think it was Feudal. To gather the deers as well. But here he's got the deers right next to it. So well, couldn't ask for anything better, could you? He's also or I should say neither side has also gone for docks just yet. We've gotten very little wood rather on both these players. Interesting. Yeah, Chapter looking forward to seeing his set on YouTube. Well, let me know how you liked it. I was having a blast during it, I can tell you that much. Yakzia going for very fast Feudal Age time here, 18 villager up click on a hybrid map here, completely ignoring the water so far. Maybe just wants to do damage early Feudal. It is a viable strategy, but let's actually check out the scouting here. This is something I don't like out of most of these players. They don't actually choose their strategy based on what their opponent is doing. Neither player has confirmed if the opponent is on water just yet. And I think that is something you should do, especially if you're planning to go for any sort of water yourself. You want to know it's the opponent on 0, 1, or 2 docks. That's very valuable intel to have. And here, actually, quite unfortunately for Yakzia, he just barely missed the dock coming down for Stefan, who is, after all, going on to water. So we'll see. Milling those berries and no dock on water. People in chat are not liking what they're seeing. I, as a certified water play hater, can't complain about this. I can complain about this. I mean, what makes this woodline so special above the 4 other ones that we have around our town center? Why are we going all the way back here? That is a curious choice, if I've ever seen one. Interesting. Not a game ender, of course, but opening yourself up to raiding for no reason, really. You're so far away from home. If you're not putting a wall around this lumber camp, this is just free raiding potential for the opponent who has spotted it, right? I mean, well, he saw the villagers, I believe. He didn't see the lumber camp actually go down, apparently. Oof. This is an interesting one here. Barracks finally coming down for the Bengalis, but they're quite behind here. We had the Teutons hit the earlier Feudal Age timing, 2 villages before Stefan, actually. And he's been pumping out scouts already. Trying to find some value here on offense. Of course, he's not on water. So if Bengalis are able to build up a lead there, go for those classic 3 or 4 fishing ships. If Yakzia then doesn't contest the water, just like in the last game, frankly, could be a free little eco lead that he can establish for himself. Stable comes out for Stefan as well. Interesting. He doesn't have any spearmen queued, curiously, and there go the raids. Really, I wonder what Stefan's thinking about here. He hasn't made any spearmen just yet, despite having seen those scouts. He hasn't walled in any of his resources other than the berries. And he's taken kind of free eco damage right here. He doesn't even have any walls. So this is a really curious thought. This is one of the most walling maps that we've seen here in this tournament. I mean, typically we've seen people in Dark Age already start walling up around their base. Many people have gone for fast castles. But whatever the strategy was, house walls into palisades, into completed walls at early feudal age at the latest, really, has been the meta in our at least low elo games here in this tournament so far. And these two guys here really don't seem to be concerned with that at all, although the Teutons are going for something similar to this at least, although not quite closing the walls. They are in the tempo lead here and getting some really good raiding done already. It's going to be the second eco kill here for Yakzia. Finally the Spearman, but this is such a late response for Stefan. And he's chosen some very, very weird decisions here. He's gone for production buildings quite far away from his town center for no apparent reason. He's gone for this very interesting lumber camp that is about to be spotted. Or is it? Oh, that was a stroke of luck there for Stefan. Might have lost all these villages there if Yakzia had just gone one tile further north. Oh man. Yeah, sorry Silver Python. I didn't put a prediction here again because this is WOTS and I don't typically. Sometimes I cast live games when time permits and then I'll always put up predictions. But during WOT casting, people could just go in the Discord and download the WOTS and see who wins. So yeah, that's why I typically don't end up doing it there, just out of fairness to the people who would play honestly and get scammed by the cheaters, right? Either way, this is crazy. Yakzia is in such a good spot again. Just like in the last game, he's gotten off to a great start early in feudal, and if we know one thing about this player, is that he's never gonna let off the pressure that he's established. 6 scouts forward, and no answer from Stefan whatsoever to this. He's not been able to wall in his resources. He's got a few spearmen, but they're just patrolling here. Five spearmen out now, but you need to distribute them a bit. You have to put them wherever your unwalled, unprotected eco is. He's now even gone for a galley forward, trying to, I guess, maybe snipe the opponent's fishing ship. But surprise, surprise, there are none whatsoever. Yakzia is going for land and land only. Again, the villager is being picked off here. This is so negligent. We've got 5 spearmen, but they're only patrolling around our town center. Oh, this is so... It looks like Stefan's really maybe a bit overwhelmed here. He's struggling to find a response here. And he's paying for it with multiple villager kills already, 4-0. And this time around, Yakzia not idling his town center behind. This is massive. Big difference to last game, where he had less town centers than the opponent, but more idle time. This time around, he's queuing up villagers. Well, as I say that, up goes the idle time, but you know what I mean, right? I mean, he's up 4 to 5 villagers here, going to castle age, been able to force the opponent into huge military production just off of these 6 scouts that he's sent forward. I wonder if Stefan can stabilize here like he did last game. He's going to be way behind to feudal or to castle age. He's got the water control, so that's nice. But this map, if we take a zoom out here, there's not a ton of fish on this map. Only 2,000 fish remaining. It's like 2,800 total or something from the start of the game. It's not like getting water control here is a game ender. It really enables taking control of the middle as well, and so it's definitely advisable to play for the water a bit if possible. But look at this. If you're going to allow this to happen, then the water control isn't doing you any good, frankly. Another 2 villagers end up going down. Stefan, this has got to be infuriating for the man. At least he's able to put up raids on the offensive now, apparently, as the scouts have come forward, but he's not going in, and thus he's just announcing himself to the opponent here within vision, and the opponent has time to put up house walls. Decides against it though, maybe not trusting the quick wall skills here is Yakzia, and thus ends up maybe losing a few villagers, but certainly has to idle them for a bit. Has not actually lost anyone yet, but that's going to happen soon. Oh, and now disaster is coming for Stefan. That's what we were saying, all those lumberjacks in the top. Oh, look away, kids. Look away. He's trying to find an answer on the offensive end here. Trying to respond to fire with fire. Well, but I think the Teuton fire is burning much brighter and hotter as of now. And despite having all these scouts in the opponent's eco, great micro by Yakzia, by the way, taking out 2 of the low HP scouts. He's now fighting against knights, and I think this is turning heavily against the Bengalis here. He's late to castle, his raid has been cleaned up. All he's got really is the middle, but he can't even stabilize at home here. He has no safe eco to speak of. He still doesn't have a wall around his gold. At least he's brought the spearmen over now, so at least that's going to be some protection for those gold miners. Oh man, this is recordings, yeah, Fortini. Recordings of the tournament. I'll cast some series live whenever time permits, but generally most of these are just tournament WOTs. Oh man, I'm not sure about this one, guys. It looks like the underdog might just be able to do it here. And what a statement would this be to close out the series on the opponent's home map. The knights. Now, again, we've seen this multiple times in the tournament. You can't throw away your cavalry against the enemy fire ships. This is... People get baited into doing this all the time. Yakzia realizes in time, at least keeps the knights alive. And the scouts were already doing massive damage to the opponent villages. The knights are going to be that much worse. I mean, even the spearmen are not going to be able to handle them. Takes out the fire ships after all. He's not planning on going on water himself, so it's not even that necessary. He takes care of these ships. Stefan was able to get to Castle Agent. First of all, picks up pikemen. Much needed upgrade. Doesn't have the scale mail armor. I think that would be very valuable to have against these knights. He's getting a fine trade here. I think he's going to lose the battle, but eco-wise, I mean, that is a trade you can take. You need more barracks, though, I feel like. He's only got 1 barracks, where the pikeman upgrade has just completed. He's thrown away all spearmen before the upgrade came through. This is pain. Oh, this is a real bad start to Castle Age for the Bengalis. They're putting up their second town center. I guess that's gonna at least provide some safe eco space, but look at the losses. Oh, and he calls it. Poor Stefan, man. What a series from Yakzia. But I can't help but feel that we didn't see Stefan on his best day today. A 2-0 for the Teutons here in round 2 for Bracket H. Into the top 4 does he end up going. 9th seed at the start, able to take out the 8th seed, and now the 1st seed. Man, that's not what I expected going into the set. I can't lie to you guys. And both games, he's just been sending units at the enemy continuously, and Stefan never was able to stabilize in this one. Never was able to wall up even. And his spearman usage, not efficient enough against those scouts. Very questionable distribution of his eco. And overall, a well-earned dominant series victory for Yakzia, who takes it 2-0. This is really an upset if I've ever seen one. And after a crazy game 1, this is what we're at now. A much shorter game 2 victory for Combi Yakzia. So, sadly, it's gonna be it for me today. I got a meeting to attend today, so I'm gonna have to head out. I might be able to cast another series this evening, depending on how long my meeting lasts. So that would be cool. I can't promise that yet, though. That's gonna be it for the stream. I'll always ping in the Discord. Well, I won't ping, but I'll announce in the promotion channel when I go live with these tournament casts. Otherwise, you can, of course, also follow the channel and also see that way when I go live. These days, all I'm doing on the stream is casting this tournament. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see you guys there, I guess. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. And again, Thanks to the guys for raiding my channel, which has been first time that happened, but very grateful for that. Hope you guys have an, well, pleasant rest of your day, and maybe I'll see you guys in a few hours again. Again, can't promise that one just yet. I've got 99 followers apparently, Beige says, so whoever wants to be number 100, feel free. But yeah, Fortini ends up dropping the follow. Hey! Hope you enjoy your follower emotes. I'll make sure to get better ones soon. Alright then, I'll head out for today. It was a blast today, thanks to everybody. And make sure to especially follow Daniela, who put on this tournament for all of us to enjoy. That is the most important thing. Give credit to the organizers as well. Take care.